My sister posted a 3-year-old text in our family group chat to publicly humiliate me. I showed up to my parents' anniversary dinner with a PDF. It did not go the way she expected. I almost didn't post this. I typed it out twice and deleted it both times because it felt too messy to explain. It still feels messy, but here it is. My name is Celeste. I'm 34. I work from home as a freelance financial analyst. I drive a used Honda. I live alone in an apartment that is fine and normal and not impressive. That matters for context later. My younger sister Dana is 31. She's the kind of person who walks into a room and people just sort of orient toward her. Always has been. Growing up, she was the favorite. Not in a big, dramatic way, just in the quiet way where one kid gets, "Oh, she's so talented," and the other kid gets, "Celeste is so responsible," and everyone acts like that's the same thing. It's not the same thing. I knew that at 12, and I still know it now. Here's something I need to say before I get into it. Dana isn't evil. I've had to remind myself of that a lot over the past few weeks. She's insecure in ways she's never dealt with, and I think she spent her whole life being the favorite without actually feeling like she's earned anything. That doesn't excuse what she did, but it's real, and I think it matters. Okay, the stuff nobody knew. 3 years ago, my parents were drowning in credit card debt, $14,000. They came to me privately, embarrassed, didn't want anyone to know. I paid it off, set up everything, handled the card companies, told them not to stress about paying me back. They mostly didn't. 2 years ago, my dad had a hospital stay. Scary enough. The bill after insurance was $6,200. I paid it, didn't tell anyone. About a year and a half ago, Dana texted me saying she was behind on her car insurance, going through a rough patch. Could I float her for a bit? I said yes. 8 months, $1,840. She said she'd pay me back. She didn't. I stopped waiting. I kept records of all of it. Not because I was planning something. I'm a financial analyst. I keep records of everything by reflex. None of this was purely selfless. I want to be honest about that. Part of me liked being the person who quietly had it handled. There's a kind of pride in that, even invisible pride, maybe especially invisible pride. I'm not trying to make myself sound like a saint, I'm just telling you what happened. So, the group chat. My parents' 35th anniversary was coming up. Big family dinner, 20-some people, restaurant reservation. I called my mom, said I wanted to help plan and contribute. She said Dana was handling most of it, but sure, I could help with some things. Fine, whatever. I'm not a territorial person. 2 days later, I'm at my desk, mid-spreadsheet, and my phone starts going off. I figure it's something dumb. I pick it up. Dana had posted a screenshot in the family group chat. 22 members. The screenshot was a text I sent her 3 years ago. It said, "Hey, I'm a little tight this month. Can we do dinner next month instead?" That's it, the whole thing. Her caption, "Just so everyone knows why I'm the one organizing this. Some of us are actually stable." I read it 3 times. My coffee was next to me, and I remember it had gone cold without me noticing. The refrigerator was humming. The apartment felt very small. Responses came in fast. My aunt, "Oh wow, I didn't know she was struggling like that." My cousin, someone I grew up with, sent a laughing emoji. An actual laughing emoji. Someone else sent a confused face. My mom, who I call every single Sunday for 6 years, said absolutely nothing. Didn't correct it, didn't ask Dana to take it down, just read it. The little scene bubble appeared next to her name. That bubble. I keep thinking about that bubble. My phone rang. Dana. I sat there through 3 rings just staring at her contact photo. A photo from a Christmas like 4 years ago, where she's laughing at something off camera. I picked up. Her voice was completely normal, almost breezy. "Hey, I just thought it was fair for everyone to have the full picture. No hard feelings, okay?" I didn't say anything for a second. Then I said, "Okay, Dana," and hung up. I sat at my desk for a long time after that, not crying, just sort of frozen, trying to figure out exactly what had just happened to me. What I figured out pretty quickly was that the text she'd screenshotted was right after I wiped out my savings to pay off my parents' debt, which is why I was tight, which she didn't know, which she never asked about. She thought she had my whole story in one screenshot. She didn't have any of it. Things got worse in small, quiet ways over the next few days. A new group chat appeared for the dinner planning. I wasn't in it. I didn't find out directly. Renee texted me. Renee is my cousin, the one the family's always a little dismissive of, calls her a lot, doesn't really listen to her at gatherings. She texted, "Hey, did you know they made a new planning chat without you? I thought that was kind of messed up." I sat with that for a while. Then there was a pre-anniversary lunch. I went because I still show up to things even when I feel humiliated. Old habit. Dana paid for the table. She made sure everyone saw her do it, held the check up just slightly, pulled out her card and said, "Don't worry, I've got this. Not everyone can, but that's okay." Her eyes didn't go directly at me. They didn't need to.
Someone laughed. Kind of nervous laugh, the kind you do when you're not sure what else to do. My dad looked at his plate. My mom smiled at Dana like she'd done something impressive. I said, "That's so generous of you," and I kept my voice completely flat. I'm proud of that. It cost me something. Inside, I was doing math I don't usually do. I was keeping score for the first time in my life. The call that actually pushed me to act came a few days before the dinner. Dana called me, which surprised me because we hadn't spoken since the group chat thing. She was in this weird mode, like warm but careful, like she was managing me. She said it would probably be better for everyone if I didn't make the group chat thing into a bigger deal. She'd say she'd make sure people knew I helped, in my own small way. Her words. Then she added, kind of casually, almost like an afterthought, "Mom kind of agrees that you've always been a little sensitive about money stuff, like it's a whole thing for you. It's really not that serious." I didn't say anything for a second. My mom had been talking about me with Dana. My finances, my sensitivity, whatever story they had built together about me without me in the room. I was a problem they had discussed and agreed on. I said something. I honestly can't remember what. I got off the phone. Then I sat at my kitchen table and opened my files. I almost didn't do it. That's the part I keep going back to. I built the PDF, got it mostly organized, and then I closed my laptop and just stood at my kitchen window for a while looking at the parking lot below. It was raining a little. I made tea. I stood there drinking it and genuinely debating with myself whether I was about to do something petty and destructive or something necessary. I thought about going to the dinner, smiling, letting Dana have her moment in the sun, going home, watching TV, letting it be over. I'm a private person. I hate confrontation. The thought of standing up in front of 20-some family members made me feel actually nauseous. But then I thought about my mom seeing that message and choosing to say nothing, and I opened the laptop back up. Renee called me about a week out from the dinner, and we ended up talking for almost 2 hours. She'd overheard Dana on the phone with my mom saying that I probably exaggerate how much I help anyway. It's like a thing she does. Just casually dismantling years of real financial support as some ego performance I did for attention. Renee also told me Dana had been telling extended family members she was planning to step up and support our parents as they got older, setting herself up as the future caretaker, while I had already been doing it, quietly, for years. I just asked Renee to be at the dinner. She said she would. The night of the dinner, I got there early. The restaurant was warm, that kind of dim lighting that makes everyone look a little softer, smelled like garlic and something sweet, maybe the candles, heavy cloth napkins. My parents were seated at the head of the long table, and they looked happy, genuinely happy. And I remember thinking for a second, just let this be a nice night. You don't have to do anything, just let it be nice. I found my seat at the far end of the table. I'm sure that wasn't an accident. Dana was in full host mode, moving around, hugging people, laughing that big laugh she has, touching my mom's arm every few minutes. She's genuinely good at it.
I've always known that, and it's always been a complicated thing to know. Dinner was good for a while. Real food, real conversation. My dad made a joke that landed and everyone laughed. I ate my food and talked to the cousins near me and tried to just be a person at a table. Then the toasts started. Dana stood up. She had clearly practiced this, or at least thought about it a lot. She talked about family, about sacrifice, about love, and she was good at it. Her voice did the right things at the right moments. Toward the end, she said something about the people who show up when it counts. She was looking at my parents when she said that. But the pause after that sentence was for me. Everyone at that table knew it. I knew it. She knew I knew it. People clapped. My mom wiped her eyes. My uncle said, "That's beautiful," in a loud voice. Then my dad stood up. He's not a speech person usually, so when he does it, you pay attention. He said they were so blessed, said this family had never let them struggle. His voice got thick toward the end. Dana reached over and squeezed his hand. "That's right, Dad." I put my fork down. I didn't plan the exact moment. I genuinely didn't. It just happened. I stood up. The table got quiet faster than I expected. I think because I'm usually the quiet one at these things, so people noticed immediately. My dad looked at me with this open expression, like, "Oh good, Celeste is going to say something nice." He was smiling. I picked up my phone. "I just want to add something. Just real quick." My voice was steady. I was surprised by that. "Dad, 2 years ago when you were in the hospital, that $6,200 bill, after insurance, that came from my account. I have the wire confirmation." Not a dramatic movie silence, more like everyone stopped chewing at the same time. My uncle, the one who'd said, "That's beautiful," literally had his fork halfway to his mouth and just held it there. "Dana, the car insurance I covered for you for 8 months when you were going through your thing. $1,840. I have all the Venmo records." Dana said, "Celeste?" and then stopped, like she'd started a sentence and lost the rest of it. "And the $14,000 in credit card debt Mom and Dad had 3 years ago? I paid that off. That's why I was tight that month. That's what the text was from." More silence. A different kind now. Then my cousin, not Renee, a different one, the one who'd sent the laughing emoji, said, "Wait, what?" out loud, kind of involuntarily, like he hadn't meant to say it. It almost would have been funny in a different context. Dana found her voice. This is not the place to do this. You picked the place, Dana. You put it in the group chat in front of everyone. I'm just finishing the story." Her jaw tightened. She looked at my mom. My mom had her hands flat on the table and was staring at them. She didn't look up. And then my aunt, my dad's sister, the one who'd typed, "Oh wow, I didn't know she was struggling," in the group chat, said quietly from across the table, "I had no idea." Not to anyone specific, just out loud. She looked genuinely stricken. My dad looked at Dana for a long moment, then at my mom. He didn't say anything, he just looked, and something in his face changed, some kind of realization moving through him slowly, and it was harder to watch than I expected. Renee said from her seat, "It's accurate, I can confirm." Her voice was calm, matter of fact. Dana sat down. Not dramatically, she just sat down and picked up her wine glass and held it without drinking and didn't say anything else for the rest of the dinner. I sat down too. My hands were shaking under the table, which caught me off guard. I pressed them flat against my legs until they stopped. The dinner finished. It took a few minutes for conversation to start back up, but it did. People are weird and resilient that way. A few people came to find me before we left. My aunt held my hand and said she was sorry for what she'd written in the chat. She seemed like she meant it. The cousin with the laughing emoji found me by the coat rack and said, "Hey, I'm really sorry. That was a bad call on my part." And he looked genuinely embarrassed. That actually helped, more than I expected. Another cousin, someone I'm not even that close to, came up and just said, "I didn't know you did all that." That was it. But something about the way she said it. My dad called the next morning. He never calls first. I answered on the second ring. He said, "I didn't know any of that. I want you to know that I didn't know. And then after a pause, "I'm sorry we didn't see it better." I held it together on the phone. I cried after I hung up. Not happy crying, exactly. More like when you've been carrying something heavy for a long time and you finally put it down and your arms hurt from the absence of it. Dana texted me 2 days later. "You really didn't have to do that in front of everyone." I've read it. I've read it probably 10 times since. I still haven't responded. I'm not sure I'm going to. I don't know what I'd even say. My mom called toward the end of that week. She didn't apologize cleanly, she's just not built that way, but she said she'd let things go on longer than she should have without asking questions. That for her is significant. I appreciated it, and I genuinely did. Here's where I'm at now. I don't feel victorious. I want to be clear about that, because I think people expect that part, and it hasn't really arrived. Mostly, I feel tired and a little sad and weirdly relieved, all kind of mixed together. I think about Dana more than I want to. I think she did what she did from a scared place, not a cruel one. She spent her whole life being the one people look at, and somewhere along the way she started needing that so much that she had to protect it. I understand that, kind of, even if I'm still angry. I stopped quietly covering costs. I stopped shrinking at family gatherings. I don't know if that's because of what happened or just because something in me is done performing invisibility. Maybe both. The thing I keep coming back to is that I thought staying quiet was humble, and maybe it was for a while, but at some point it stopped being humility and started being erasure, and the only person doing the erasing was me. I'm still figuring out what the relationship with Dana looks like now, or if there is one. I haven't talked to her since the text. I don't know what I want to say or if I want to say anything. That part's still sitting there, unresolved, and I'm just kind of living around it for now. Real life doesn't really end, you know? It just keeps going and you deal with it. Anyway, if you got this far, thank you. If any of this sounds familiar, the invisible labor thing, the quiet sibling thing, the keeping score and then feeling weird about it thing, drop it in the comments. I'd genuinely like to hear it. And if you want to follow along, I post sometimes. No promises on frequency.